What's up, everyone? Welcome to today's video. Welcome to the Video Game Fight School channel. Thank you very much for tuning in. So this is a question that I'm sure a lot of people have asked, but we're going to take a look at it from the technical side, and we're going to see that this is probably negligence or possibly the potential of how apathetic a lot of the decisions being made from the, interactive entertainment side in relation to Batman actually seems to be very weird at the end of the day. What I mean by that is, a game like Batman Arkham Origins, number one, does not have a presence on the new generation of consoles. That's just one thing. Number two, a game like, say, Batman, Arkham City does not have a 60 FPS mode on these consoles, or even Batman Arkham Knight, the more recent one. What's crazier, when you actually take into consideration that these games, came out a while ago, is the fact that their hardware requirements to be able to run 60 FPS is way lower than what the consoles right now have in their machines. Now, this is where I say that the consoles are actually now gaming PCs. A lot of people have said to me, well, you can't really say that it's the same as a gaming PC. My guy, it's a gaming PC. Sis, it is a gaming PC. It is literally running hardware that right now is comparable to hardware on the market. And it's basically, in a sense, it's always been that way. We just never really did see it as that. But the moment they started talking about 6 and 8 cores and you're going to be able to use these teraflops and your VRAM is going to be this, and we started looking at the comparisons on the market, it was obvious that what AMD has done was sell PlayStation and Xbox a mini gaming PC that was basically, based on their design in some sense, but at the end of the day, the meat and potatoes is that you are running on your Xbox Series X a 4800XS, which is a CPU, and in your PC, on your PS5, what you're running as a GPU is very similar to a 6700 non-XT. There's no way you can cut it. You now have your VRAM, you have your NVMe. I mean, my goodness, you're flying high. And when you look at the requirements of a game like Batman Arkham Knight, when it came out, its recommended specs was the i7 3770. Or you could use the FX 8350 to be able to run this game very well. In fact, your GPU was the GTX 760, of which the 6700 non-XT is infinitely better than this GPU. So by the measures and standards here, Arkham Knight should be able to at least run at 4K 60 on the PlayStation 5 and the Series X. However, when you try to go play this game on those platforms, you are not going to be greeted with such positivity. No. You're not going to get that. You're going to get 30 FPS, and that's what you're going to be offered, which, in my opinion, I think is quite asinine. So what in the world is going on here? Why the apathy? Why have these games not received a 60 FPS version or a 60 FPS mode? Because it is quite surprising to me, and I'm sure it's probably surprising to most of you, that now the hardware capability is here, but the developers have not necessarily been tasked or budgeted to basically ensure that they can get a cleaned up version of this. Could it be that they want to go ahead and monetize it? Because, to be honest, all they got to do is basically just unlock the FPS, or at least put the FPS standard in a specific place. These games are made with Unreal Engine 3. It is not past them to be able to find the expertise to get this stuff done. And so as much as we talk about, the new games and we talk about them being at 30 FPS and all of that stuff, some of the older games in their publishers are basically enjoying the fact that people are railing against, the publishers publishing these new games not getting 60 FPS, whereas the old games, which don't need any work, they're not doing it. There was also the conversation of Red Dead Redemption as well. I mean, before they got the 60 FPS mode, in terms of all of that stuff, where Rockstar seemed to want to sell a version of the game that had 60 FPS. There's just a lot of greed in the industry, and I think this may be, in my opinion anyways, a motivation for them to not want to do this. But ladies and gentlemen, if you've ever thought about this, if you carefully consider this, I strongly believe that this is a lot of negligence. This is a lot of apathy, because, as much as you may want to say, Ubisoft this, Ubisoft that, they're one of those companies that will just basically just do what I think is a little bit more consumer friendly, in my own opinion anyways, than what Warner Brothers would do for the most part. So for those of us that are Batman fans and those of us that are looking into this, I strongly believe that, you probably need to start asking, yourself the question, like, what is going on here? And I've been asking what the question is and looking at the technical side, can't seem to get a sensible answer. I mean, let's even look at, say, I don't know. Let's go back a little bit. Let's say maybe Arkham, let me say Arkham City, right? Arkham City, its requirements are, peanuts compared to what it is that you'll be able to get, when you compare it to the PlayStation 5 and when you compare it to the Series, X. It's asking for an Intel Core 2 Duo. Those were the system requirements for Arkham City. Do you know what a Core 2 Duo is? Like, that is insanely, I would say, weak compared to what you can actually get your hands on when it comes to, let me show you guys right here. Where is it at? Oh, I removed it just now. There it is. It's asking for an Intel Core 2 Duo, 2.4 gigs, or an AMD Athlon X2 4800 Plus. I don't even know what that is. I know what the Core 2 Duo is. 2 gigs of RAM, 17 gigs of hard drive space. The ATI, my goodness. This is this is before they started even saying, I think AMD bought ATI or something and named it Radeon. I can't remember the history behind that. The GeForce 8800 GT. And somehow, when you put this game in your PlayStation 5, you cannot play this game at unlocked frame rate. You should be able to play this game at 4K easily. In fact, if you try to fire up, say, like Arkham City on the I have to install it. It's not installed on this computer. But let me see. Let me go to Arkham. Let me go to Arkham Origins. That's installed here. Arkham Knight's not installed. I was streaming it from my other computer. But if you open up Arkham Knight and you want to go ahead and play it, it's actually like running very healthy, at insane frame rates on. I think it should be able to do about 100 FPS on the PS5 and the Series X. And so this is basically like, in my opinion, what I think computing is about when you actually take into account, and I'm recording, so my frame rates will dip, but they're not going to really dip too bad. Let's go ahead and do a quick test here in the next few minutes just to see if, for real, if this game, how it actually, would do on a build. Now, this build is slightly better than the PS5 and the Series X by one simple thing, which is the 6750 XT. That's the GPU in here. But if you were to maybe run even a 3060 Ti, or not even a Ti, you don't need that much computing. A 3060, you don't even need that much computing. A 1070 is even still a lot of computing, because if you look at, I remember we just looked at it, whatchamacallit, its system requirements, and even that, was nothing insane. So let's see what it does even with recording. Even while the CPU is getting hammered and the GPU is getting hammered, we're still at 60 FPS without any problems, across the open world. When the GPU is not recording, I think I have footage of it even going as high as like 100 FPS or something. It's insane, 100 and something FPS. Oh, VSync might be on. It does that. Graphics options. Let's see what's going on here. Oh, there it is. That VSync will lock it to like 1080, would lock it to 60 FPS, but when you turn off VSync, it will give you more FPS than that. Look at that. Yeah, apply. All right, let's go back. VSync off. Yeah. I mean, look at this. At least 100 FPS from the PS5. I mean, without any problem. No need to even sweat anything. Now, maybe if they want to do a remaster or something, that probably will be my only guess as to why they're not doing this. Maybe they may want to improve textures, because these textures are basically kind of like, PlayStation 3 level textures. They're not necessarily the most detailed, but at the end of the day, I mean, why not just give it to people? Why not just give the audiences what it is that they want, or at least something that actually provides value when it comes down to it, right? So let's see. He doesn't zoom in this game, does he? Nah, he doesn't. He doesn't zoom in this game like the other games. But if you look at the textures here, they're kind of cheating in a sense. Let's see if we can tweak the texture settings and gain a little bit more in terms of texture quality. I guess you can go FXAA, geometry detail, direct 11 enhanced, direct level enhanced, depth of field, DX11. I don't think if I'm using DX11 or what. Hardware accelerated physics. I think this is only PhysX. This is only for NVIDIA graphics cards. FXAA is high. So basically, this is as much as you can pretty much go to see if you can. Yep, save changes. Yeah, I don't think that really affects much, but still, the game's performance is beautiful, and you won't believe that it's recording now. Even from some of these new games, once I start recording, the performance really does tank at the end of the day. But I wanted to go ahead and highlight this in this video and just talk about it briefly because, man, I strongly believe that a lot of these publishing companies are not necessarily about business. I think they're just more interested, in some really weird stuff that they're chasing all over the place when really they could be serving their consumer bases with very popular games. If you want to play these games at 60 FPS, well, they have the 60 FPS versions on PC, and you don't need anything crazy to play them. You can just play them simply by getting a decent build that can actually get the job done. Even a Steam Deck, I think they run. Did they run at 60 FPS on a Steam Deck? I think they do. Steam Deck is more powerful than a lot of these devices from back then. But anyways, talk to me in the comment section. Let me hear your thoughts, and hopefully we'll talk pretty soon in another one. Peace out.